coming to the end of our long stay away. This lake is absolutely beautiful. See you back in the Pyrenees. Hi, we're Ian and Julie. Follow us on our tiny homestead and our debt-free project of a lifetime, the building of our shipping container home here in the Pyrenees, and all of this alongside our full-time jobs.
Hi, welcome back.
Hi everyone, and thank you so much for being so patient with us these past few weeks.
Yeah, we have basically spent the last 30 consecutive nights in a different hotel every single night. We've both driven in our individual vans and trailers over 6,000 kilometers up and down every mountain in the Alps. And I think we took care of about 60 athletes in total over the 3 weeks or 4 weeks we were away. Oh, it's good to be finally back here on the homestead.
We're a little bit tired and shattered, but we made it back last night and we couldn't resist coming down to have a quick peep last night. Yeah, we'll show you what we found.
But first, we have come back. We have lost track of all what we were doing, and you'll see in a minute that nature has also taken over, so we can't even see what we were doing. So we have gone through a project plan basically to get every outstanding project completed, and we'll go through that in a little bit later on in the video. But as Julie said, let's show you what we've come back to.
So this is what we've come back to. This is a complete shock to us in such a short space of time, how it has flourished and just taken over. I'm not the tallest person, but these weeds are definitely bigger than me. Before we've even started our veggie garden, nature's decided it can't wait. We've got tomatoes growing in the path. We've lost the path, Ian, it's gone. This where I'm standing was where Ian, in quite a few videos back, dug out for a retaining wall. It's only going to be a small retaining wall, but again, I think the digger's going to have to come out and tidy this up again. I can't even see our rubble pile. We have a rubble pile here that looked very high. First things first, I think we better get the site back to where it was before we went away, before we can even think of doing any of our projects on our list to do. It's a big list to do.
So I haven't started this for 5 weeks. Let's see. Right, it is so bad I'm going to have to raise my wheels, which is just a matter of putting these spacers underneath. Oh, it's all oily and greasy. They're not automatic. There we go. I'll do that all the way around and then I can start. Note to self, either wear gloves when doing greasy work or have at least something to clean your hands with. Got no wet wipes or anything up here. It's a pain. I always wonder how. I always watch these YouTube videos of other people and they're all spotlessly clean, not a bit of sweat on them. Before I even start, I'm a mess. Right, let's get that tractor going. I've done all the wheels now. Now I could probably put some in.
He's put the cutter on the highest setting he can. It's really making a difference. Oh, there goes. Yeah. See the difference it's making? And I think once we've gone over this now, we might come back tomorrow and go, and once it's dry, and go over it with a shorter cutter just to chaff it up a little bit more. But it's looking a bit more respectable now.
Oh, well, that's the majority of it done. Oh, dearie me. Yeah, it gets a bit hairy over on that lump over there. But I think I've got the knack. Have I lost my rag? Lost my rag. Oh, right. Strimmer and robot mower now. And then we should be back to square one. What I'm going to do, I'm going to move the machines out of the garage. Now we're back sort of more permanently. We do still have to go away for one more week, but that's in September. I'm going to move the machines round to the annex where they were supposed to be. That was why we built it. And allow me more room in the garage for other projects that we'll show you in a minute. But I may as well get those out because I've got to get the robot mower out as well. Right, that should hopefully lock the two in place. I'm pretty chuffed actually because this is enough room for the tractor to back in with the cutter. Now the tractor will go to the front of this because the cutter's quite big, but there is plenty of room for this kit here. So that's what it was designed for, although it'll probably be turned into something else because we have plans for another tractor shed just at the back there, and all of this will then just be put down there. And this maybe become our freezer, processing, preparation for the garden room, all of that. We'll put some doors on, but that's future. We've got to get through these existing projects. Hi, good afternoon. Well, we were a bit late last night, about 7 or 8 o'clock, finishing off and getting everything squared off here. Got the tractor going. That's absolutely fantastic. Now I'm getting used to the lay of the land and where I should be driving, which slopes to go up first, and getting the exact sort of circuit so it's the most efficient way of doing it. It's going a lot quicker. But yeah, we managed to trim everywhere up. That little Chinese mower is absolutely fantastic, the one with the tracks. We managed to do all the banks, well, as far up as we could go. It was a bit slippy because there's lots of vines still, but yeah, without tipping over, I was holding it sometimes just to make sure. Julie is absolutely tired out by pulling all of these weeds up by hand. She's made her various piles here that will be moving a bit later on, but they're just drying out to make it easier. But while I was cutting, she was taking all the vines, everything out of the gabion wall just here. And then I came over with the little tract mower and just did all of these banks. The only bit that we could miss is where the water tank is here, our 4,500 litre underground water tank that we put in. So we'll just need to get the strimmer out, but it's a nice quiet day and I don't want to start making too much noise. So here is where our retaining wall is going to be, and that's one of the big projects we've got coming up in the next weeks, months. I think probably another 4 weeks. So when we come back in September from our 1 week away on our last big tour, actually, we'll start on that retaining wall. But I've near enough got the blocks out of all the... It looks like an apocalypse photo, doesn't it? You just think if you were not here for a year or so, how overgrown everything would be. Again, I need to get the strimmer out or some gloves and pull all this away from this storm drain. Now this is going to be another project for this winter. We are going to dig this out into not a pond but a slightly wider area to catch the water, and then dig a trench along the bottom of this bank here, some piping that will basically just bring it over the other bank just over here, and that's just to allow this sort of grass to become proper grass. At the moment it's some sort of wild pondweed or something because it's always so damp just in this section, and this is a flat section, so we want to use as much flat section as we can. So I may as well just divert the water around under the bank and then just over a bit of a bridging pipe there. All cut here. There's another little flat section just here. Now here in this section, this is where we want to start thinking about an animal shelter. We can dig it right into the bank just here, so to use as much as the land as possible. And also it's a bit of a maintenance problem with all, it's so high up here. The local authority cuts the top of it, but even with the mower there, I can only get a certain way. And I can see in the coming years, trying to struggle up there with a strimmer is going to just not be on. So if I can dig something in there, I'm thinking the container, a nice sort of container barn, animal shelter storage. That might be the plan there. So that's not on our list on the board, but it is in our heads for a future project. If we go back about 2 months, Julie attempted to plant some wildflowers on this section. I know I've cut it already, but there was no chance. It was just full of nettles. So let's do a flashback now.
I'm on this horrible bank that we have a real problem with getting the tractor up and down. And the more Ian's gone over it this spring, it's degraded. So I'm just going to cover these stones. And last year I planted, it was a teeny tiny packet of wildflower seeds up by the workshop. And when the flowers had all died off, yeah, I've got my bucket full here, I'll show you. When the flowers all died off, I picked all the heads, and I cannot believe the amount of wildflower seeds that I have. Well, you can see both bags are full. So the plan is I'm going to just loosen all the soil along this bank, and I'm just going to smother it in wildflower seeds. It's a bit of an experiment saving all these heads, but I'm going to smother this bank, and the other side of where the cows are, the trees, there's a guy who's got lots of beehives, so he'll be thankful that I'm doing this.
Again, not on our board for project, but we have all the parts to do it, is all the fencing. The whole fencing around this 1 acre section. We're going to leave a few gates in just in case we are able to get hold of a little bit more land down below where those hay bales are. That's a really nice field there with access to the road down the bottom. When we got back from the Alps a couple of days ago, we arrived on site and basically we had to remind ourselves what we were actually doing. It's been a while since we started a lot of these projects, and before we rush onto the house, which I'll tell you a little bit more in a minute, we need to finish off all these little outstanding bits, mainly in the garage and the outside sections. So we've come up, we've actually used our whiteboard for the first time, and we've got our internal garage, our tech room, which is the little room in the back there, and our annex, which is what we built on the side for all the machinery. And then we've got some garden and driveway. But mostly in the garage, it is finishing off all the OSB walls. We've actually got to finish off the tops and insulate. Also going to box in the top of the garage, the roller mechanism, just so it doesn't all get clogged up with dust and things. We're going to finish off the little mezzanine, which is just the above the tech room. That's going to be a storage area, so we've got to board it, both walls, floor, put some vinyl down so it's nice and slippy. So when we put up some plastic boxes, some plastic totes up there, they'll just slide nice and freely. And then we want a little wall ladder that we can just hook off the wall and be able to climb up there. For the tech room, we've got all of the small trim around the edges, some conduits, some more lighting. We got to install our solar system, so our battery rack for the Pylon Tech batteries, and also the inverter and all the switches and earths and everything else. And we're also going to investigate a mini split. I know in the States you get these Mr. Cool units, or these DIY units. I'm trying to find something in Europe that's similar to that we can just install ourselves. Also that won't take a load of power as well. And then when we've got all of this done and this done, we could combine the two, and we want to basically sand off this floor, get rid of all of the little crazy marks, including my footprints for when I was doing the concrete, and basically seal it with an epoxy paint, a 2-part paint. The annex here, we've just got to finish the siding. I'm going to frame a door, going to put some plumbing in there, just got to seal and cap around all the edges. What else? We've got window bars to put in just to make it a bit more secure. And we've got to install the solar panels, which are these just here. I need to get those out of the way as well so I can get the OSB in this garage. We've got to finish off the solar panels on the tracker. I'm going to add another solar panel on that tracker and fit on the wind meter onto a proper bracket instead of just sitting on a breeze block there. So these are all little things that just get away from you and you forget, and they'll never end up being done. In the garden, we've got to cap the gabions. We've got to make sure this sort of leads into the house, the foundations, because in the next couple of months, we want the guy to come back with the big excavator and dig out a big wedge, and that will basically be a nice flat area for me to get on with the actual foundations. Now the dirt out of that wedge, we want to put in various locations, one of them being on the garden. And to do that, I need to get these curbstones in and all level and parallel to the garage levels. So then we've got something to work to when we put all the soil and then ultimately the gravel for the pathway and driveway. Julie is going to start experimenting rendering, or stucco, I think you call it in the US, the the walls as well, the outside walls. We've got to put some temporary steps in the corner there, so when we are doing all of the foundations and the retaining wall for the new build, we don't have to go all the way around. We've just got some steps. And I've got a lot of wood left over from the decking I did back at our main house earlier this summer. I want to get all of this done before I even break earth on the foundations. Now, I mentioned the house. Quite a lot of you know already, I think, that we've steered away from the container build. We will be doing the container project. That'll be a little bit more in the future. But the house, we said we were going to do in an ICF, insulated concrete forms for the base, basically for the crawl space, and then a SIPS, structurally insulated panels, OSB with insulation inside, for the rest of the house. Now, while I was in the Alps a couple of weeks ago, we passed through the town where I'm discussing with a company over the last year on supply and install of the SIPS panels. Now, I'd love to do it myself, but if you get somebody to design the structure and install it, they actually can certify it. So if anybody needs a mortgage in the future, if we sell on or when we croak it and the kids want to sell the house on, then somebody can get a mortgage on it because it is certified. So that's one of the reasons, and also they just won't do a supply only. So we're a bit stuck there. But being just myself and Julie, and you know, Julie just came out of the hospital with a appendicitis and hernia operation. That's all repaired now, which is great. We don't want to start making ourselves have even more hernias by lifting these panels ourselves. So it was good to meet the guy, really nice guy. They know their stuff. They're really into Alps style chalets, the ski chalets, but out of season, which is their winter season, because it's so much snow up in the Alps, it's a good opportunity for them to come here and help with our build. So we had a really good tidy up yesterday. Back to square one. We've got rid of the machinery outside the garage, and I've swept and hoovered all inside the garage. So we are ready to get cracking with all these projects over the next few weeks. So please, thumbs up, give us a subscribe, share the video as well. We're now back onto our regular Sunday evenings, and we'll see you in the next video where we're actually doing some proper work. So see you then. Bye for now.